Park Board meeting to order, and the first item of business will be our minutes from the last meeting. Are there any changes, corrections, or omissions that anybody caught or saw?
You're talking about the February 7th or February 14th meeting? We started with the
Let's
February
start
7th?
with,
We have the 7th
2/7.
and 14th.
yeah,
Okay, at the top of the page on, for the February 7th meetings, it says January 7th, so that needs to be
yeah.
changed.
See that.
Oh, jeez. Otherwise, I will make the motion to accept those meetings with that correct, or those minutes with that correction.
Second,
I'll second.
moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Now we will go into a closed session.
Wait, you gotta go to the
No, that.
2:14 minutes,
Okay.
please.
Pat, can I just,
Yep.
Mr. Matt Frisbee representing Monarch Paving, or Monarch Properties, and Andy Crone is here tonight. Do you want to have him, do you have any questions of him before we go into the closed session?
I thought the motion was on both sets of minutes,
Oh,
Okay,
not the one.
Oh, are they both?
Are the,
yes.
are
That's
both
fine.
sets okay?
that's fine.
There, both sets are done. Why don't we have Mr.
Well, I mean, if you don't have any questions, I mean, that's one thing, but
No,
if you do.
No, I
I
think
think
we
we
should-
do have some questions.
Yeah, before we go into it. So, we've walked it. Wanna take the podium. Does anybody have any questions after having been down there and walked it now and looked at it and had a chance to ponder it? There was a layout copy in the packet. Ron?
For some reason, the swap wouldn't go through. What would you anticipate your project would look like? The footprint? I'm sure you've got contingency plans.
Yeah, we haven't actually gone too far with that. If you remember from a couple of years ago when Andy was working on the First Street Station, the first project, there was a plan for about I want to say about a 300 to 3,500 square foot footprint on that site. That was part of the approvals back at that time.
Okay.
So that was previous, though, to him acquiring the house, because his goal was to kind of clean that up
Sure.
and kind of make a little bit better tie to some of the open space. So that's what kind of spurred to say, well, there's some great advantages to kind of do some swapping of land to get that to be a little bit more buildable. It would grow the size of his building slightly, for sure, but at the same time, I mean, he really saw that house as an opportunity to clean it up. So it came available, and he bought it. So that was the change. So previously, no, it was back on the old scheme.
Part of your original plan?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. I wasn't aware of that, so.
Now, and we still, even with that original plan, we would still have zoning to go through and other
course.
things, just as we would in this case, too.
Thank you.
Does anyone else have any other questions for them at this time? If not, then we will go into a closed session to discuss it further.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
I will call the Park Board, March Park Board meeting to order after our closed session.
Okay. And I'll make the motion that we delay making a decision until after the lakefront master plan has been completed and discussed by the city council.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? If not, the chair will call the question. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Matt? Yeah. What came out of the last city council meeting was the city has hired SCH as the parks planner and riverfront specialist to conduct a master planning process to go from the I-94 Cloverleaf to North Hudson, the entire riverfront, for the, as to how it should be best utilized and what should future planning and projects take place, and how do we best utilize that for the next 50 years. It's done a good job to here, but how do they do it further? And it was the discussion during the meeting that to give up parkland right now with them going into that process seemed counterproductive to what we were trying to do. And so it was out of that, we're not saying that there's not merit to doing the swap or the change, that it makes sense to do something like that, but to do that right now, wouldn't it be in the best interest of our constituents? Does that make sense?
No.
Okay.
I understand what you're saying, but
Yes.
what's the timing of that? That's the concern.
Approximately 9 months.
Yeah, yeah.
That, okay. I mean, we're hoping to be under construction here this summer, but we have planning and council, we got other things to go through. Waiting a whole nother year, wow, that's,
I don't think it's gonna get through council. If we were to recommend the swap right now, I don't think the city council would vote to do so with having just spent the money for the planning. And that's kind of what came down to us as well. That right now, the city isn't interested in doing it until that's been completed.
okay. Okay. It's kind of a surprise. Because was that even, when was SEH hired to start that?
That was authorized last,
February 27th is when the council authorized it,
yeah, so,
it started as quickly as possible.
yeah.
Well, I understand all that, but I mean, as we started the discussion back in November, December, the tour, everything, we thought we were getting to a point, and that hadn't come up. At least, maybe internally it did, but with us and with Andy, it didn't. So that's why it's coming as a surprise to say it's kind of on hold because of that. I understand your rationale, don't get me wrong.
I understand.
But it's, there's some things that we've been kind of working on because we know we have a long ways to go. And this was kind of this first step, and now we're not able to make the first step, so.
Well, this whole master plan thing really didn't come to a discussion until after the first of the year, so it's pretty recent.
Mhm. And let's see, it was a meeting it was right after the first of the year. It was the first meeting I was in to meet the planning team that they have from SCH. And it was discussed, but they didn't, at that time, it was unknown whether they were gonna come up with a funding source to pay for it. And then the mayor came up with the funding from the room tax dollars to be utilized because it benefits the community as a whole, and it, within the restrictions on how those dollars can be spent. And so I think it was after that when the whole council then are behind wanting to do that master plan, and it wouldn't fly.
So in that master plan, even where this small little site with this little house, this rental houses and stuff, that's all gonna be, they're gonna make a recommendation of what, because we know we have to clean up the zoning, we have to clean up other stuff there. But they're gonna come back with a recommendation on this small site to say, SEH, here's what we're proposing you should do. It seems like a small piece to the big plan.
Well, we don't know what the recommendations will be. That's the purpose of doing the plan. It won't just involve Lakefront Park, it'll involve other land outside of Lakefront Park. It's a riverfront plan. City, and particularly Mayor O'Connor, does not want any parkland disposed of prior to this plan being completed, period. If you don't understand the word no, I'll clearly explain it to you.
Okay.
Yep. So, you know, the ball's in the end, Mr. Cronin's court to do as he wishes. You know, we're not opposed to it, but just at this point in time, it's not gonna fly.
Sure. And again, I understand
Yeah.
your thought process, it just is a little bit of a surprise.
Oh, understandably. Yep.
Would he consider selling the property of the park?
Where the house is? this point, I think he would entertain probably a lot of thoughts, so, yeah. Because he was acquiring that to clean it up.
We understand.
We can come back.
That's part of our thinking, and for his benefit, long-term, that may not be the worst thing. Okay, it's good to know.
Mhm.
Thanks.
Any other questions or anything to do with that issue? If not, we'll move on to anything we have with reports on the parks of what Tom had intended.
No, not that I can think of.
There-
Anderson Park is actually in the paper this week, so there'll be a 2-week ad. And then should
For the
go
bids are up?
Mhm.
That'll be nice on that
Yep.
one.
What do we have budgeted for that again?
We don't, it's a
Okay.
donation, so.
Yeah. Paul's donating that.
Mhm.
Oh, that's right, okay. So are we basically just redoing the tennis court? And pickleballs?
Pardon me?
Is it gonna be a pickleball court?
No, it's a restroom.
The whole
The
restaurant.
restaurant.
Oh,
building.
that,
Pavilion.
okay,
Yep,
all right,
pavilion,
okay,
that part of it,
Yes.
got it.
yeah.
So yeah, that should be in at the end of the month.
And Joyce, I don't know if you know, Paul Anderson has given that entire park to the city over the years. He was quite a tennis player. His father was a early settler here and was a real avid tennis player. And the city had no courts back then, and he's provided all the improvements to the park and the family name, if you will, on there. The city's been the direct beneficiary of his.
That's quite a gift.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
he's definitely made it nice. I'm sure they're getting ready for the big thaw. What are they saying with how much is the river supposed to pop now with this big storm?
High right now.
Yeah.
About a foot and a half.
Okay.
Be up about top seawall,
Yeah.
be a little,
And a big part of that's been it can't drain out. There's so much moisture south of here.
good thing with flooding now, it's all gonna be,
Based on spring rains and not snow melts. So half the battle is already won, so.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Any other projects that Tom has?
Yeah, the council did approve to use impact fee funds for White Camp Park Universal Playground lighting, so that'll be
Oh, good.
coming up, so they'll get some lighting out
The
there. too,
lighting?
so.
Good, that'll be going in. And how about the assembly of stuff down on
Yep.
Picnic
That,
at- that
Yep,
take
picnic,
place then too?
yep, that's gonna take place, scheduled tentatively the first week of May. Is what
Great.
we're hoping to get the playground all up down there.
Reassemble, all the stuff that came out of White Camp.
Yep,
Mhm.
Will be set up down there and
Yep.
ready to go then, by the time, about time school's on. Be perfect.
Good. Where is it now? Is it being stored, or is it just
Mhm.
out?
Yeah.
Where's it stored?
the landfill,
Oh, jeepers, okay.
it's been out
Yeah.
there.
Anybody have anything else for future business or agenda items for the future? If not, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Hey.
Meeting closed.